itself. We love the legends, we love the lore, but the gameplay itself and the actual movement, and I've actually been to a firing range in my life, I've fired some weapons. The actual, I'm not a keyboard mouse player, I'm a console player with a controller. The controller feels really realistic, all right? As realistic as you can make it. But having said all that, I don't think the game is the same without a lot of these characters. So I would say first and foremost, we'll go down the line. What is an example of a story that a fan brings you as to how your character has impacted their life? Let's start with you, Allegra.
Sure. What, did you catch me? No, someone tried calling me, so I just had to be like, panel. Panel, I'm on a panel right now. I mean, for me, the thing that I always hear from people, or it's the number of people who come up to me and say that Bloodhound helped them realize that they were non-binary.
Right.
Seeing the non-binary representation in the game, it was a very, I mean, not like a super early, but relatively early example of non-binary rep and some really open, wonderful queer representation in the game. And seeing the way that not only the character was portrayed, but also the way that the developers and myself stood up for that identity and made sure that it was known and protected and not erased was something that meant a lot to them. And that is always the heartwarming Apex conversation that I have at my booth.
Yeah, and in a lot of cases, like in my case, this is not a world I knew anything about, right? And now I know a lot more about it. And I used to, when I would stream more, I have mods, and some of them are non-binary, some of them are trans, and they very politely just give me information.
Yeah.
They're not in my ear all the time about it, they're not screaming at me, they understand some of us are on a curve and we need time to catch up.
Yeah,
and they give me the information.
That's the thing, the non-binary community just wants you to know they exist, and they're gonna correct you on their pronouns, and it's not malicious, it's just like, hey, this is the pronoun I use, and as long as you can respect that, they're going to be happy. And they understand sometimes when you slip and make mistakes, because we live in a society, but for the longest time, we've been raised in a very gendered society where it's like, you make the assumption of male or female or everything, and now that there's a lot more open as opposed to hidden expression of gender fluidity and, being outside of the binary entirely, I think that, people understand that mistakes are going to happen, and as long as they're not malicious, as long as they're not,
right,
intentional slips, they're fine with it.
Yeah, cool. Now, how about you, Justine? What kind of stories do you hear?
Well, I just love when little girls come up to me and say that they're so inspired to be a scientist or an electrical engineer. It's so wonderful because, for the longest time it was a male profession, and girls are often not welcome in science. If you've seen the movie Hidden Figures, girls were not welcome in NASA. And it's so exciting getting to see this next generation get so excited about, learning new things, and also just knowing that Watson has entertained so many people and brought joy every day. I hear people, I play Watson every day, and the punny, shocking lines are my favorite, and it just brings me so much joy after a really long, hard day at work. So I'm just so lucky.
Nice.
I think about it too, because when we were younger, I remember there being such huge pushes for women in STEM, in STEM. And ironically, I was going to be a woman in STEM until I decided I actually wanted to be an actor, So I'm very excited that, even though I went the theater route, that, girls are feeling inspired by the work that we do and everything. It's like, oh, it's, full circle, it's nice.
Yeah, acting is such a more solid, career path than science.
Yeah, super reliable.
Yeah, absolutely.
You always know you're going to get health insurance.
You're never unemployed.
Right.
Yeah, it's awesome. All right, how about you, Johnny? What kind of stories do you hear from the fans?
Oh man, well, I think there was one that was really impactful. A fan had handwritten me a letter and sent it to my agency, and it was like 3 pages. It was like one of the first letters I'd ever received, and they wrote, "Thank you for voicing this character, because it reminded me of my uncle that had passed, and you sound exactly like him.
Really?
Yes. So he said that he would play the game so that he could remember his uncle. That was the most impactful.
Wow.
Yeah. So,
That's
you know,
really
like,
beautiful.
yeah, as an actor, it's just, honestly, I'm just trying to do the best that I can, you know, doing this job. And, you know, sometimes I don't think about these things, but then I realize when you guys all come up and you guys tell me you guys' stories, like, you know, you guys all have a story, and you get inspired. Because when I was a kid, like, all these people aren't here, I'm like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And, like, you know, I freak out because I grew up watching all their stuff too, and, you know, as an
I'm
actor,
Youngblood. It's like, what am I doing here? You know?
yeah. And it's like, dude, it's I'm very grateful because I don't realize what I'm doing, but, you know, like, you guys come up and tell us these stories, and it means a lot. So.
Right. Yeah, and for my part, getting to be at the, you know, at the very beginning of the game, I play this really, really happy robot. And for me, sometimes it reminds me that maybe I get a little too serious about things. And it would be slightly better for me if I just maybe took a more Pathfindery approach and just sort of shrugged and said, it's gonna be fine.
See, that's funny to me because I see you and you're always so positive and welcoming and friendly as a person. So the idea of you being like, no, I'm like in my head and super serious, like I don't associate that with you. So maybe the entire time I've known you, you've been taking that mindset.
A little bit.
Yeah.
It's helped. I mean, there's the old saying, fake it till you make it, right? Now, it is true. If you make yourself smile and think happy thoughts a little bit, it's not like you're going to totally transform, but it does at least draw some of the energy away from being negative. And Pathfinder, who as I like to call the walking dad joke, is really good at that. So, good
The
to
two
know.
of you are
Yes.
Two of us
Exactly.
walking dad jokes.
Yes, absolutely. So, all right, here's a question.
And then two people who are seldom known to make jokes.
Yes. Yes. Now, all right, we'll start from the other end. Johnny, do you still play the game on a regular basis, or has it become really, like, it's really sweaty? There's no better way to put it. I get in the game, I get wiped almost immediately, but I'm a potato, I'm not any good.
Yeah, it's pretty sweaty, but
Okay.
I do enjoy playing it offline, off stream occasionally, and I do still play it. It's a lot of fun.
I was
Okay.
gonna say, I don't think it's possible to play offline.
Yeah,
Yeah, not quite.
Unfortunately,
Not quite.
yeah.
Now, do you have a favorite map, or do you have a favorite sort of mode that you hope they maybe bring back?
No, I like Battle Royale. I like World's Edge. World's Edge.
World's Edge.
Yeah.
I'm a fan of World's Edge.
Yeah, tell us.
Okay, now how about you, Justine? Do you play the game? You never
I'm
really played?
Terrible. I
Okay.
just end up falling and tripping on things,
Okay.
and I've gotten myself stuck in the water one time.
Stuck in the water?
Yes, just stuck in like.
I don't know if that's possible.
Yeah, it was.
It is?
It was.
Okay,
Yeah,
so you
I
get
just
stuck in the
was
water.
stuck in the water.
All right.
One of the devs had to come over and help me get out of it, and then
Okay.
I think I went back in the water. I'm
Wow.
just not very good. But you know, with the devs helping and coaching me, that helps a lot. But yeah, I'm much better of a voice actor than an Apex player.
Okay. All right. Now, how about you, Allegra? Do you?
I only play on your stream, dude.
I know,
That's
and you were rage quitting before we even started.
It's true. I like being good at things, and I'm not
Yeah.
good at Apex, so I'm just like, I'm cutting my losses right here. I'm also just not really much of a battle royale person. I'm far more of a cooperative gamer.
Right.
So when I feel like I'm set against people and set against players, I get very frustrated, especially because I felt like the game was sweaty really quickly. It got
Yeah.
sweaty almost immediately because some people were like, no, I'm gonna get really good at this game. And I'm like, oh no, I don't have time for that. Yeah, so we would do like, I would insist on only doing the goofy modes that we would try to suggest.
Mhm.
And even then people would bully me because they were better at like the general movement than
Yeah.
I was. And I was like, I'm not good at this, I hate you all. So I go back to Assassin's Creed where I could just kill everyone and mind my
Yeah.
own business.
It does kind of, yeah, it prompts that kind of reaction. It is not an easy game to learn. But
No.
yeah, as you guys who have ever seen my stream, I don't really stream the game anymore. I don't really hardly stream at all, but I have a
You
lot of
stream
YouTube
donuts
videos.
on Saturdays.
Yeah, I know. I do coffee and donuts still, but I do have all my YouTube videos up. And if you ever want to see how bad a person can be at Apex, there is about a 5-year trove of videos of me, mainly rage quitting. In fact, it's the season for it. They do, what is it, what is the Winter Express? Are they bringing Winter Express back? Does anyone know? Okay.
I'm seeing nods, yeah.
If you ever want to hear the voice of Pathfinder incessantly curse for an entire stream, find any of the Winter Express modes I do where I curse Respawn, I curse EA, I curse everything in Apex. I hated this mode so much that I thought I should play it online because it would be fun for someone to watch somebody get as angry as I got at this mode. So that's if you want to see that reaction. All right. This is one of those moments where I ask myself, geez, maybe I should or should not bring this up, but I think we should. So, because we're going until what, 12:25? How long are we going? 12:25? All right, we got 7 minutes. Do you guys have an opinion? Right now, there is a work stoppage with games. Do you have an opinion on AI and what you think is going to be happening in games? It doesn't have to be about Apex, just in general. There are gamers here. They're probably thinking about it. We're all thinking about it. You don't have to wade into this arena. But I figured someone gave me a mic. Someone forgot to moderate. I'm going to possibly try to end my career right here. Anyone want to venture a guess as to where they think AI is going? What they think our relationship to game and animation producers is going to be?
Well, there's a part of me that thinks that, like, to an extent, at least in like the motion performance space, there's like an aspect of it being a little bit of just a buzzword, because they've been using elements of that technology for a very long time just to populate the worlds with NPCs.
Right.
So I'm thinking, like, I'm kind of hoping that that's the extent of it, that it's just a slightly more fine-tuned way of populating the worlds with realistically moving characters, and that it ends up otherwise going the way of NFTs. And that this is just a fad and it's going to be done, because I like my job, I like acting, I like being in the booth, I like doing all that stuff, and I think the idea of removing the human element of performance is depressing to me. And I far prefer it when I steal work from AIs by voicing computer systems in games.
Yeah. She actually does an amazing Siri voice.
If you want to hear an AI performance, I was inspired by the voice of GLaDOS in order to be able to do it. So, I have a lot of fun trying to steal work from AI.
See? And she can take direction, too.
I'm the anti-strike.
All right.
Yeah,
Justine, Johnny, any thoughts?
At least right now, with the technology that we have, I don't think that AI can replace a human performance. I think it's such a beautiful thing when an actor can convey emotion, can convey humor. I don't think that AI can do that, at least not yet. And I hope it never will, because there's such, during the pandemic, it was so hard because we were away from so many people, and it's so wonderful to have these fan conventions where we get to meet people that love the work that we do, and we get to be able to touch people's lives. And I think that's just so important. I think the pandemic taught us so much about human connection, and it's so wonderful that we're able to go to a place with so many people. It's so wonderful to get back into seeing live shows and live theater and being able to experience that with people. You know, sometimes watching a television show or movie is wonderful, but it's not, you're not with everyone. And getting to be in person with so many people is a really special, unique energy. And yeah, I hope it never totally replaces us.
Gotcha. Johnny, any thoughts? Or you don't have to.
I'm not intelligent enough to answer this. I'm a dancing monkey, okay? I juggle balls for a living, like,
Right here.
I'm not, I don't know, dude.
Gotcha.
It's like, for me, it's like the small human stories, because I've seen a lot of arguments that, like, maybe NPCs or something like that can be replaced by AI. And I just think of, like, the the NPCs that I've voiced in video games, where I just kind of go in and I tell a really small 3-line story with a character. And you can have really meaningful storytelling in those moments, and writers are taking care to write these things. And that's the thing, I know the writers would rather work with us. You know, if they're humans telling stories, they want other humans to tell stories.
Right.
And I've had such beautiful sessions. I played a character in Fallout 76 where it's 26 lines, and the entire time she was dying and grappling with the fact that she was like, yeah, it's over for me. So, you know, these are my regrets. You know, kind of regret it, kind of don't. You know, and it was a beautiful thing. And I had recorded it. You guys remember when I got briefly hospitalized after that stomach thing that happened. I had a major potassium deficiency in the wake of a stomach bug, and had to be briefly hospitalized to get my potassium levels back to normal. And I recorded that session about a week after that. And it was like a little moment where it was like I had grappled with my own mortality, and the idea that like with a severe potassium deficiency, my heart could have stopped at any moment. And it was like I was getting to tell that story. And I think about that session a lot when I think of the idea of those types of characters being removed by and replaced by AI performances. It's like, you can't change, it's like, it's never, it's art,
Right.
is human, art is human, it's human expression.
There's a reason why you guys are here. It's not to meet, as one actor put it, it's not to meet a laptop. Okay, it's so that we can talk to you and you can talk to us. So I guess what we're saying is until AI can be hospitalized for a potassium deficiency, I think we're gonna be okay. Now they said they won't really have time for audience questions, but we do have 1 minute. Does anybody have an aching desire to ask a question of one of these three lovely people?
Or
Raise your
this
hand.
one too,
Not
or
lovely
Chris
person.
Edgerly.
Or me.
Lovely
If
person.
not, it's all good. We can wrap it up a minute early. All right. You, sir. If I could change what character I voice, which one would I choose? Okay.
I love it!
I always say, and this is the truth, all the characters are great. All the characters have wonderful voice lines, but the only one I feel like I could even take a stab at would be Mirage. And that's not to say I could do anything nearly as well as Roger Craig Smith does it, but I know how to be a smart aleck. I know how to be a smarty pants.
Real.
And to be inappropriate and all that. So yeah, I would take a run at Mirage, but how about you guys?
I mean, if we're going full bucket list, I would
Full
say
bucket.
I would take a stab at Revenant.
Revenant.
Well, it's like
Okay.
we're going full bucket list. We don't have to be realistic about this. I can't
Okay.
play Revenant. I'm not a deep-voiced man, but
Right.
like, god damn, that's got to be fun to play.
Yeah.
The other one, I would love to do Watson's dad jokes. She seems like so much fun to record.
Such a joy.
Just like a little spark of light
Yeah.
every single time you go into record.
Right. How about you, Justine?
Also, I never get to play villains, so Revenant would be amazing, but I've always gravitated towards Pathfinder.
Really?
When
Yeah.
I say, hi friend. It's
The happiness,
greatest.
yeah, it's contagious.
Yeah.
How about you, Johnny?
Oh, Nick's not here and he can't
Nick's
hear
okay.
me, so don't worry about Nick. I'd be like, all right. No, I'm kidding. I love
No,
Nick.
do
He's my
it.
boy.
No, replace him. It's fine. It's fine. He's not here. He can't. Well, I mean, this is a bucket list anyway. We're obviously so happy to play the characters we play, but if there were anyone else that you would like love to explore in the booth in any capacity, you know?
It's a loaded question, man. Like,
That's
I'm-
true. It'll come back.
Yeah.
It'll come back to you.
Loba.
Loba.
Yeah, Loba. Why not?
Stick a bikini on me. I don't know.
Sexy crypto, ladies and gentlemen.
There we go.
Season 25, we'll never know. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for
Thank
being
you.
here. I'm
Thank
Chris
you.
Edgerly, that's Allegra Clark, that's Justine Huxley, that is Johnny Young.
Nick-
We'll see you